We're here at the incredible Golong Studios with the incredible owner, Kevin. If you need a studio to use in the Houston area, we highly recommend Golong. But we're here for our favorite segment, and that's the cool down. So we just had the biggest real estate agent in the world, Joe Rothschild. 3 years, the #1 agent in the world.
It was a very amazing segment. I'm excited to put this one out. What a wealth of knowledge he is. And it is the first time I've actually seen you humbled, Tim, to be honest. I was impressed.
His stats just crush my stats. Like, when I show up, there's times I can lead with my stats.
Yeah.
When you're around him, you're like, let's talk about something else.
Do you look at him as kind of a mentor to you?
So he adopted me kind of early. For some reason, he kind of looked out for me, and it wasn't like, hey, come to my office, I'm going to teach you everything I know.
Sure. Occasionally,
he would just call me and say, hey, you're doing this wrong, or you're doing that right, and I'd ask for a meeting with him, and he would just give me really tough advice. Hence the tough talk. I think he was probably my first tough talk guy, right? He would give me tough advice. So the most important thing and what I took from, you got to watch it. What did you take? Again, this guy's incredible.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. No, I had so many takeaways, and I'd love to go through them as bullet points and just, kind of discuss those a little bit and encourage engagement to the viewers. But the first one, and I'm not going to go in order because I'm going to put I wrote them down in order as they came. But the one that he just said, the mindset, and I adopted this about 4 to 5 years ago, and I've really just seen such massive change, quality of life and everything. But it was faith, family, business. And I know you, and I know me, how we always didn't operate in that order. We thought it was, business number one, family number two, and hopefully we can go to church on a Sunday. But, my son, his grandfather has begun a internship with him. But in that order, he said, this is how we're going to do it. So he's teaching him at a young age, and that just, it made me proud that's the mindset he's going to be going into his career. But, how has it helped you in your life? We've kind of discussed off camera of what it's done for us.
Right. I love the saying, you can't outgive God, right? So I find anytime, and I'm not doing it for that reason, I want to stress that, but anytime I get to pour into God's kingdom, it seems like my business just is overwhelmed with just grace. And who's the guy, Rick Warren, who wrote really famous book, I just went blank, but Rick Warren, he recently passed away, I believe, A Purpose-Driven Life. He talked about, Rick Warren reached a point in his life where he was giving back 99%. He started by tithing 10, and then 11, then 15, and then 20, and by the end of his life, he was tithing 99% of what he made from his book sales back.
Okay.
And his theory was, you can't outgive God. Well, I'm not in a point where I can give back 99% yet. I find that the more I give God of my time, of my efforts, it just seems like you're rewarded. And again, you don't do it for that reason, but doesn't it feel that way to you too?
But living by faith and then operating by faith, and I think but it also leads you down the right path.
Right. As men, we think we can solve everything. So by realizing we can't and turning things over to God,
and letting your family see you humbled to God, is eye-opening for them, to where they look at the man of the household as the one that can conquer all, but seeing that humility, seeing that being humbled, teaches them that, right? And then knowing that you've put them over business, right? It's an eye-opener to them too.
Some of the best business people I know, the Mark Elkins, the Robert Anthonys, who we have in another segment, Joe Rothschild, Herschel Rothschild, his brother, they're people who really live their faith out loud and really do a lot in the community to give back. It's incredible to see guys like that out there.
It really is. And I think in turn, what do they say? I mean, there's a saying is stop looking for who you love, because once you do what you love, they'll find you, right? I think that's just in turn. You're planting those seeds, you're reaping what you sow by living that style and not forcing it and trying to drive without a map, if you will.
It is really interesting. You spend like 20 times or 30 times the effort trying to fix something, and then you'll just sit down and pray, and then the answer will come to you, or the good things will just happen to you. Sometimes you just need to reach out. And that's hard. Again, I'm a problem solver. You're a problem solver. Joe's a problem solver. it's hard for guys like us to wait for God to speak to us sometimes. And I think that's
it is. But I mean, if you're listening to this right now, I mean, maybe it's time to ask yourself, hey, what's the real order of your priorities? It's building the life that you actually want, or just feeding the machine, And I think I was feeding the machine for 20 years plus. Absolutely. And I was chasing something I didn't know what I was chasing.
And I afraid too. I was afraid, like, if I didn't operate at a high level every day, my whole business was going to crash around me, or my family wouldn't love me as much. Right? Yeah. So much value into that guy. And I went to a lot of counseling for someone to tell me, men, yes, providing for our family is biblically. We are supposed to do that.
Correct.
Absolutely. But there's a lot of other things we're supposed to do, and most men get all their value from that one, not their value from their relationship with God, their relationship with their children, their relationship to their church, to their pastor. They get all of their value on their relationship to work, and that's the wrong way to go.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that was just a great topic, and I'm just glad that
you covered it.
We covered it. I think putting it out there is important, but as
again, I want to quote number one real estate agent in the world 3 years in a row. Not bad advice.
not bad at all.
Right. So
the other takeaway is focusing on net, not gross, and why it matters. I want to hear your thoughts about that.
I think I use a story that I had a guy who would always tell me how much he made and then ask me to borrow money. Right? He was always bragging how much more money he made than me. And it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep is a very simple way to look at that. But all your business numbers need to run around your net. That's how your accountant's going to do it anyway.
Correct.
So just learn a spreadsheet, learn how to figure your net. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the most important things, and really understanding your number and where your profits are coming from.
Yeah.
Identify, which lead sources bring you the most business, things like that.
Correct. No, that is so important. When I was in the country club business of running food and beverage operations for all these properties, I created this spreadsheet to where it broke down how much I made per person that walked in that door. Okay. Just covers. And it was, my labor, my kitchen staff, my front of house, back of house, liquor costs, food costs, linens, everything like that, the water, the gas, to where, okay, so we make 22 cents per head or 28 cents per head who walks into this building. How do we get more heads in here? What are we going to do that? Because if that keeps coming, that 22 cents will keep coming too. So I don't care.
You can sell your way out of problems. If you have more people come in, you make more because you still have the same cost for the building. Some of your costs go down when you bring people in.
But and gross can be a trap. You were talking about that. A false sense of success, correct?
Right, absolutely. A lot of people brag about it. To me, the most fascinating thing about Joe, let's cover the smaller one, and it's not smaller. Joe is someone who gets his fitness, and Joe doesn't use everything he has going on as an excuse not to be in shape. Okay. He showed Pablo and I a picture, and he might be embarrassed if you joke about it. That man has abs, right? Like, he's a little older than me, I think, Joe. Has abs, he bragged about where he swam across. And again, he wasn't bragging on camera. He was just politely, I
think he just knew Pablo had abs too.
Right, absolutely. So that man takes his fitness very seriously. And there's a talk we're going to have on the Vibe board, but don't use real estate or any career. Like when you were at CoStar, for instance, how much free food was always around, right?
Yeah.
Don't use your job as an excuse to be out of shape. Now, if you're out of shape and happy with yourself, that's fine. I have no problem. Like if you're happy exactly where you are, I'm just saying if you're going to complain about your job being your excuse, don't do that.
There you go. Yeah.
Because, I think
remove that excuse.
Remove that excuse because, again, some of the most, and I know a lot of successful agents who aren't in shape, but some of the most successful agents I know are. So it's not an excuse.
Well, I think if you take care of your motor, it's going to take care of you, right?
You're going to be a better father. You're going to be You're going to be able to go to church. You're going to be able to do all the things you need to do.
You'll be able to, like me having a 2-year-old now, I'm going to be able to run and go to practices with him when he's, getting up there pretty soon. But the last thing, expand upon how the tax planning, how that hinges on that.
Right. Yeah. All right. So back to that. So tax planning and everything comes from your net income. So understanding that is really important. But tax evasion is illegal, and you should never do it. Tax avoidance is your God-given right.
You say that. Yep.
And I do think you really need to understand how your money comes in, why it comes in, what's taxable, what's not. I think that's one of the most important things you can really understand in your business, what you can write off, what you can't. I buy your accountant lunch. Like some people joke, like, you call your accountant and he picks up my phone. I can't get my accountant on the phone. Well, my accountant calls me for a favor. He gets it. My accountant, I call him and I take him to lunch. I make sure that somebody I know really well is my accountant. That's really
100% here too. Right. Been with mine for like 15 years.
Right. And it's key. I do also want to cover, and I know you're planning on it, I think Joe, of all of us, has the best exit plan I've ever seen. So real estate doesn't have a retirement program. We're going to cover that.
Yeah, I think we end up covering that in a lot of these segments. But, I think it was
But his retirement program is incredible.
Right. It is. Right. But, I mean, don't ask how I can make more. Ask, how can I keep more of what I already make?
Absolutely. Fair enough. Yes.
Love that.
Yeah. Joe stressed that. So.
Yep. It really was great. I mean, and the real order of success, in his episode, his personal tie-in, faith, family, business, in that order, how he treats real estate like real monopoly. I loved how he said that. Right. And I loved how that was kind of how he organically got into commercial real estate just by wanting to protect his board on monopoly, right?
Well, he bought houses, he sold houses, he bought buildings. Although I don't think he's bought hotels, but he sold his houses, he bought buildings, and one of the smartest guys. I mean, we talked, I think he said he had, I can't remember if it was 12 or 20 strip centers that are paid for. Think about that for a second.
I mean,
no debt or little debt.
And that was his exit strategy, right? With his rental income, and going back to that as retirement. I mean, it's such a good vehicle, right? And like you said, and I remember when you were talking about it and I think was, we had this rental income coming in. We paid this for the house. We're making $3,000 a month. Well, now the house is worth $400,000, but we're still only collecting $3,000. So what do? You use it as another vehicle, right?
You sell it.
And you go and you find something else that can make that passive income equate more. And so using that, but then also, I think the most important part, and then why I love commercial, and what I told you when we first met and you were starting to get into commercial, there's no emotion.
Yes.
It's data.
Right.
It's data. It looks at it. It's not, I don't like the crown molding. It's the cap rate.
What's the cap rate?
Let's go.
Right.
And so, but using that as an exit strategy, I think it's just great because you can also set your children up. And I think he did say that one of the strip centers that was kind of iconic here in this city, his son now owns.
Yes. Yeah. Well, also, I think he said he had $1 million a year in passive income. So
yeah.
I think about that, $1 million a year in passive income that you do nothing for.
That was his personal unique number, right? And that's what I was looking at was, okay, as I said, I needed to find my personal unique number, the amount of monthly passive income I need to comfortably exit the grind, right, and how to break it down. I mean, how I broke it down and what I've looked at is, step by step to find your number. Know your monthly burn. Add a buffer, 10 to 20% for unknowns, inflation, etc. That is your new target, and then run the rental math. Right. If a property nets $400 a month in positive cash flow after all the expenses, and I want $8,000 a month, I gotta have 20 cash flowing properties, right?
$400 a month's a rough way to go, by the way. Don't do that.
I know, I'm just using round numbers, right. But
by the way, I highly recommend don't do a property if you can't net $1,000 a month. Don't even mess with it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, but not every deal cash flows the same. Maybe you go after short-term rentals, multifamily, or high-yield markets. Right. But you know what? I'll talk on this later. Do what you already been doing it, well, right? Getting out of that comfort zone.
I think so. Joe's kind of the strip center guy, and that's not my thing. Right? I don't really have a huge desire for strip centers. I like office buildings. Yep. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And I think to your point is do what you're comfortable doing, do what you're good at doing, do what you know. He is one of the best strip center guys I've ever seen. That's what he does really well.
Correct.
He should do it.
I mean.
But he also joked, like, he got in the restaurant business. I don't know if he did this on camera. I think he did. Like, he's like, ooh, that did not go well for me.
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm good at? Real estate. You know what I'm not good at? Restaurants.
Yes.
So.
And that business.
And he bought a chain, but it was a restaurant.
And that's where you think, oh, okay, everything, all the structure, the bones are there. It's going to work for me. Nope. 1 in 10 restaurants succeed, and it doesn't start with you having a good recipe that your friends love, right?
It just doesn't.
That's one thing. I mean, doing that and staying in your lane, knowing what you do. We did kind of talk about that. What would your advice be to, when I left my job that I was making very good money, I just felt complacent, but you had a great point to that. And that also kind of goes and alludes. I like how these are all threading together, right? But, say you're getting bored and you're in real estate and you're tired of doing, say, residential, and you keep doing this. What's your advice? Don't walk away from it. What did you say? What did you tell me?
So the analogy I use is my daughter fishing story. So my daughter had this fishing spot that she just kept pulling fish after fish after fish after fish. Like every time we put a little hot dog on it, boom, fish.
Damn.
But she got bored of standing in that spot, so she moved to another spot. You know what wasn't there? Fish. Right? But what if, instead of deserting that spot, look at it as a business, if she had paid someone to stand there for her and she got half the fish profit and they got half the fish profit, and then she moved and found another spot to fish. I think if you look at business that way is
100%.
Before you give up something just because you're bored. So Gary Keller has a saying, and I agree with it, success is boring. It's probably not just his saying. It's probably out there more, but that's where I heard it from originally, so I'll give him credit. Success is boring. However, success pays really, really well. So if you're bored with success in that spot, don't give it up. Microsoft made a whole lot of money selling DOS. Right?
Yeah.
They never gave that up. They just went and did other things once they perfected that and could have somebody who heads that up. So if you have something successful, don't give it up. Train someone to do it.
Use it as a vehicle.
Right. Train someone to do it for you.
Correct.
You get part of the income, and then and only then do you move to the next thing.
Well, correct. And then also say you can carbon copy it. Say I was having a conversation with a friend when I was out of town this weekend, and he wants to replicate this exact business model, this studio in his city. And it's, it's plausible because you're thinking, okay, well, so if I instead, just show people how to do it, I get 10% of something's better than 100% of nothing, right?
Right.
That's saying we've all heard. So say we go out and,
help them franchise it.
And, building the automations because you spend all this time to be successful, but now you're bored because there's no new challenges. Well, there's now a new challenge to expand your footprint.
Yeah, absolutely. Let somebody else take it over before you give it up. So that's the main things you got from Joe. Anything else you want to throw out there real quick?
Yeah, no, I mean, there was a lot, real estate, it's a long game. It's not a lottery ticket.
Right. He's been doing it a long time. But
what do you always say that I love? Real estate is the best get rich slow.
Yeah, it's the best get rich slow strategy out there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you do get rich. And by the way, 20 years goes by in a blink of an eye. My daughter's 25, and I was just watching video of her crawling, right? So,
yeah.
And it goes by in a blink of an eye.
Happens so fast.
And we have a whole lot more money now than we did when she was crawling because we invested in real estate.
Yes.
And it was get rich slow, but you get rich.
If you look at it, just delayed gratification over easy wins.
Right.
Equity over ego.
Right.
You're building a machine. Think about that. Okay. There's always parts that need to be maintained, changed, replaced, upgraded. Right. And cycles happen, but winners stay in.
Right.
He was talking about 2008. He was talking about 2009. I stayed in.
Both of those, right? Yeah.
Both of y'all did, right?
That was tough.
And I mean, you hear, and it's kind of funny because a lot of the successful people in real estate, they dug their boots in and they dug their heels in and stuck through that. And now they're just 10x stronger.
Well, you make more money than you've ever made because the people who didn't survive it got out, and there's more business and less people. So
there you go.
There we go.
There you go. Now, a lot of that. So I encourage everyone to watch this episode. Engage in the comments about what your takeaways were, but also share some success stories about maybe some of these principles that we did discuss.
Yeah, what's your exit strategy from real estate? Let us know.
Exit strategy.
If you have a great one, we'd love to have you on the show. So
yeah, and what's your exit strategy? The faith, family, business, that was important to me. And real estate's, it's like Monopoly. You wake up every morning, you're playing a game.
Play for real.
So have fun doing it.
And house is a lot more valuable in our world than the little green plastic ones in there. So,
It is. It's good stuff, though.
thanks.
Groovy.